Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 23rd to the 29th of June 2014. We are still in the summer solstice. Most people celebrate it on the 21st, but it's actually a period between the 21st and the 24th of June. Solstice means sun stands still, and what actually happens is the sun is at its maximum arc across the sky, rising early and setting late, but the sun rises and sets at the same place for 3 days. So this is a period, it's a pause, it's a held breath while the sun is at its height, and then after Tuesday, after the 24th, it begins to reduce its arc across the sky, bringing the morning in later and the evening in earlier until we get to the autumn equinox, when the daylight and the nighttime hours are equal. That's what equinox means, equal night. So we're in the week of the summer solstice. It's quite a good idea to actually watch the sun set on the 24th. Many people rush to watch the sun rise on the 21st, but it's actually the sun setting, the sun actually decreasing, and for a period of gratitude for that light that it's brought, the life to the planet, the plants growing, the cells in our body glowing. So it's a period of pause and gratitude that we're in at the moment. Apart from that, on Monday we have Venus gliding into Gemini. This is always an interesting one because Venus belongs quite happily in the harmonic of Taurus. But when Venus moves on to Gemini, things do get a bit quicker and a bit quirkier. So we're dealing with laughter, inspiration, and all the art forms that come from the thought realms, from where we actually get our ideas from. So this can be a great period for artists and writers, because the streaming of thought can then be harmonized into art while Venus is in Gemini, and that lasts for about 3 weeks. So good time to tune in and get those creative juices flowing and actually radiate that light that we've acquired while the sun has grown to its height. We get to a more tricky week by the end of the week, so I would say make joy and make light at the beginning of the week, because we're heading to a temporary Cardinal Cross just after the new moon. So on Friday we have a new moon in Cancer, but the day before we have the dark moon in Gemini. Again, many people very happy to celebrate the full moon. Some people celebrate the new moon, but many forget about the dark moon. My dark moon is a couple of days before the new moon, and it's when there's no visible moon in the sky. So it's often a time when we can feel a little bit flat or hollow or drained. But this is a good thing, because it's a time to release and let go of anything that's not serving us anymore. So there always needs to be that triplicity. The new moon brings in the new, the full moon reflects and brings closure and completion, and the dark moon is a time to release. So the dark moon in Gemini on Thursday will be a good time for us to just actually tune in to where our thoughts aren't serving us, because Gemini again is the thought realms. Tune into what flow are we tuning into? Is it actually our thoughts that we're having? Where does your mind actually take over and run the show with stories that possibly are not individually yours? So it's a great time to tune in, to monitor your thoughts, to have a look at the other side of your mind, what goes on when you're not observing, and to become more conscious and aware. So then we get the new moon in Cancer on Friday, and this opens up a 2-week window of new intentions. So as the sun is receding, the moon is growing, and we have Mercury retrograding back over these points. So it's all very interesting. There's many directions going on at once. So it doesn't really feel like a time to push forward with intentions as such, but we can reprogram ourselves. We can actually be very soulfully aware. We can actually realize, where are we putting our emotions? Where are our emotions manifesting in our body? Are they coherent? Are they clean? Are they healthy? And we can just have a bit of a health check at this time, so that when we do feel that forward motion, especially with Mercury, we'll be ready to actually then put that integrity into action. But as I say, by the weekend we have a temporary Cardinal Cross. Now if you think back to April, we had seemed like a permanent one back then. There was a good month of tension across the skies. So this is going to feel a little bit similar, but it's only going to last for 1 day, 1 or 2 days next weekend, where everything is pulling in opposite directions. So to break that down, we have Uranus in Aries, which is calling us to rewire our neural pathways, to think outside of the box, to have that Aquarian vision. We have the Moon in Cancer, which rules our subconscious thoughts and emotions, and this can often bring up memories and stories and attachments that we can let go of, so that can be more emotional on the subconscious clearing. And then we have Mars in Libra, which is our passion, but that's directed towards peace and equilibrium, so there's a desire for that peace, but pulling opposite to Uranus in Aries. So we have to know what it is that we're looking for justice-wise. What is it that's true? What are we actually putting our passion and dynamism towards, and make sure that those are correlated. And then we have Pluto in Capricorn opposite the Moon in Cancer, and Pluto in Capricorn is about core strength and foundation. So what are we building on? Is it authentic? Is it going to last? Sustainability. So that opposite the Moon in Cancer will actually ask us to bring our subconscious forwards, to look at that core strength, to have a look at what's going on at the cellular core level, and make sure that it's actually worthy of our efforts and our emotions. So although those are 4 planets all pulling in opposite directions, we can see that there is fusion there. From Uranus in Aries to Mars in Libra, put your passion to something that's actually justified and visionary. And from the Moon in Cancer to Pluto in Capricorn, make sure that your emotions are supportive and nurturing to you, so that you're building core strength and strong foundations. So it doesn't seem too aggressive as such, but you may find that there's people around you or situations happening where if someone or something is out of alignment, then there can be a kind of tension and a pulling feeling, but it's pretty much break down or break through. So always look to the breakthrough. Whatever's happening, what's the answer, what's the actual ideal that you're striving towards, and a great deal of honesty, self-honesty to go on there, so that we make sure that we're not avoiding, because at the time of oppositions there is no avoidance, but if you think of an opposite, it has to meet somewhere. It's 2 ends of the same scale. So in Gemini we've learnt to find the fusion of the 2 twins, and with this cross that will put that to the test, to make sure that we can actually find our level and find something that's harmonic to us. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week.